Good morning, everyone. So, as promised, I figured out a way to start sharing a little bit of the beauty with you. I'm staying on a farm right now, and where I parked the van is right on the edge of this beautiful pond. You can see lily pads, grasses, black water, really beautiful, dark black mirror water, and then some morning sun, more lily pads. I've only seen one once, but bald eagles live here, and so does a heron. I've seen a lot of ducks and hung out with a lot of birds. Anyway, welcome. 3 weeks into this journey. Um, the the thing I've been thinking about today, and the conversation I wanted to share with you today, is about um, this sensibility around when self-respect becomes divine pride. I'm thinking about it. It's relevant at the moment. It's always relevant, but it's relevant at the moment because as I've been considering the school and what happens during the 9 months, which starts September 6th, and I'm letting everyone know, opening the gates. But one of the things that we do that I feel like is rare and also important to me is that we develop both self-respect and divine pride and the distinction between the two. And so I wanted to share that with you, what that even is. So if you think about self-respect, right? Obviously important. It's something we develop often over a lifetime of earning our own respect, right? Of forgiving ourselves, of forgiving other people, of learning who we are and understanding our flaws, starting to realize our gifts, right? All of these things. And it's something that, you know, a lot of people, I think, if we're honest, we struggle with. Like, we have to develop it over time. There's a lot, self-respect is forged. It's not like it's handed to us. In fact, there's a way in which it really is something we have to fight for over a lifetime. There's a lot of messaging around you're failing, you're not enough, you didn't do this right, you're not worthy of respect, fundamentally not worthy of respect, right? All the way down to just, oh, you're a life? Well, that doesn't necessarily guarantee you respect, right? Which is obviously not part of natural law. Where self-respect starts to become divine pride, and that's one of the treasures I feel like the school holds, is when I wouldn't say we move beyond self-respect, but it deepens and it transforms into what I call divine pride, what Andrew Harvey calls divine pride, which is a necessary pride in what you have been created to be. It differs a little bit from self-respect because divine pride has to do with recognizing, understanding, and meeting what you were created to be by the one who made you, right? What this one here is. So whereas self-respect, I would call it related to the vessel. It makes our vessels strong. It makes us able to stand up and, move forward into our lives and to stand tall, right? That's self-respect. It's important. It's vessel. It's strength. In a way, it's healthy ego, right? It's the healthy construction of what we are so that more than what we are can move through. And divine pride is what comes when you start to allow more than what you are to actually shine through that, more than what you are on the surface. So divine pride is understanding, for instance, as a woman, that your womb, your sexuality, is something that you steward. It's not something that's ours, right? In its truth, right? So in self-respect, we understand, like, okay, obviously this is my body. This is my sexuality. This is a gift. This is mine. layer the octave of divine pride underneath of that. And all of a sudden you realize, and I'm stewarding something magnificent and beyond myself, right? When you really open, for instance, to sexuality as an upwelling, when you open and you give way to what can move through you and how you can open, when you do the practices to go deep into the womb, i.e., your creative center, i.e., the place where seen and unseen meet in your own body, profoundly as a woman, when you go there, when you approach that place from a state of asking for revelation and seeking to be shown, all of a sudden now you're approaching divine pride and you're moving towards the mysteries that live inside of you with the attitude of a pilgrim. Divine pride. Oh my God, this is what lives inside of me. Oh, oh my, wow, this is what I am. This, a deep well. This, a black mirror of holy waters, a reflection. You know, this, all that grows, literally all that grows, every landscape you can see, every time you see beauty in nature, what you can know is that she's showing you a landscape that lives inside of you. It's so important to go to nature, find beauty, be still, to be shown your true nature and to start to really come closer to divine pride. Human nature and all of its distortions and all of its transformation and alchemy is going to show you a lot of things. And you may find then that there's pain that lives inside of you, that there's arrogance, that there's confusion, that there's all sorts of things that live inside of you. Don't ever forget, this lives inside of you too. Good morning. This lives inside of you. Forests live inside of you. When you approach divine pride, what you realize is that yes, you can respect yourself. I can be Jumana and I can learn. I have learned. I continue to learn how to respect myself, my choices, my body, my mind, how to protect my mind. You know, I think we're all in an ever-ending journey of self-respect and cultivating that to its depths. You move into divine pride, and all of a sudden, you have reverence. There's reverence. You know, there's an awareness that what lives inside of you was gifted you and will move and continue on. You'll return it to the place from which it came, right? These are the treasures that we steward deep in what you could say are more in the soul, right? In the true nature of what we are. So, in divine pride, we also then understand that each of us literally are created differently. We have to, each of us, deeply take the time to look and see and understand what we were created to be outside of everything else. So much of what this journey is for me is that I realized that I was very poisoned, that I was holding too much, more than I could hold, of all that is moving in humanity. All of it's like I was full of not only the distortions and the coercions and the orphaned mm, expressions, the expressions of an orphaned humanity. I was full of that. I was also full of my own reactions to that. And thus here I am, right? Almost a month of being alone and clearing out and rediscovering out of necessity where I am, right? And what's true. I mean, in the school we spend 9 months approaching that mystery inside, self-revelatory process, to knock on the door in well, literally, what, 36 times, 36 practices, 36 transmissions, but to keep turning again and again and again towards true nature, and therefore then divine pride. There is something about divine pride that nourishes the deep feminine soul, the fabric of being, in a way that self-respect does not. Self-respect protects the mystery. Divine pride is the mystery. And when you come into touching divine pride, the other aspect of it that differentiates from self-respect is that it's kind of non-negotiable. You can change as a being. You can earn respect, your own respect, other people's respect. You can overcome in all sorts of ways, right? As you grow, as life happens. Divine pride is given. This is what you are. This is at the most fundamental nature of your being. It often speaks in natural symbols and natural language. Oh my God, I see. I'm a deep well. That lives inside of me. What does that mean? Well, that means what? Number one, I have to focus on containment, right? I'm giving you a little bit of how I work with it, because with divine pride, you learn how to take care of your own true nature, which isn't really something our culture can give us. We don't have a culture. We don't have we have an overculture that dismisses the invisible, dismisses the unseen, dismisses the subtle, and suffers as a result deeply, right? Obviously, I mean, we don't need to go over and over again the kind of interruption of the female body and the deep feminine wisdom stream, right? She's still alive. And where we find her is turning towards our true nature and asking to be shown. She is a revelation, always, every moment, a revelation. So what we find, for me and in the school, a lot of what we're working with when we're turning towards our beings as women, as mysteries, as revelatory, as kind of magnificent, unknown, unknown in some ways even to ourselves in the most beautiful of ways, beyond our imagining, right? When we turn towards that, we're also asking not only, hey, wow me, hey, God, wow me, show me what I really am. That does happen. You'll stand and there'll be moments of just bowing to realize what lives inside of you. And that does actually reinforce self-respect, because all of a sudden, not only are you a human being who has earned respect, you are also the guardian and the protector of something holy, truly holy, that you've touched, that lives inside of you, that isn't yours, that belongs to the greater being, right? That is yours to hold and protect and steward in this lifetime. All of a sudden, self-respect must exist, right? And is strengthened and has a different tone. But also with divine pride, when you start to understand, and each of us has our constitution, right? We have our true nature. It is very specific. It changes, right? The timbres change, the moods change, the aspects of it change, or we discover different terrains inside. You find in one depth of you that there is the night sky. You find in another depth of you that there is a secluded well in a sheltered place. You find in another place of you that in another place in you that there's a flame, an incorruptible flame that can never be quenched. Right? You find all these things, and you find them in the school. You find them through your own practices. You are guided into finding these things and seeing them, touching them. When they're revealed to you, they're more true than they could ever be if somebody, like I tell you, I can tell you that all these things live inside of you. That's great. Believe me, because it's true. However, if you turn into your own being and you see that, it's given to you specifically as it is, and it's a revelation, all of a sudden, that can never be taken away from you again. And when you start to understand your true nature, then all of a sudden things start to fall into place. Oh, now all of a sudden this makes sense. Oh, I'm a deep well. Oh, okay, this has been one of mine recently. Oh, okay. What does that mean? Oh, no wonder containment has been an issue for me my entire life. Strength of containment, making sure that the walls around this well, the depth of the well is protected and held so it doesn't just spill out, right? Making sure that who approaches the well, that the well can be open to anyone. It must be because this is the water of life that lives inside of it. However, no one can approach the well with poison, right? So there are ways that when we understand, when we start to touch a divine pride, when we start to touch the nature of which we are made, and it's revealed from inside, all of a sudden, the instruction manual starts to become clear. Our friend is going to come back the other way now, I think. The instruction manual, i.e. the thing that nobody could tell you because nobody can tell you because you have to get it from inside, which is how do you care for who you are? With divine pride, with reverence, really. How do you understand what you were created to be, and then therefore how you care for that, right? When we touch these things that live inside of us and that are more than us, all of a sudden a lot of things fall away, like self-judgment, a lot of perceptions, even self-respect, even perceptions and ways in which we've kind of shored ourselves up in order to feel like I'm good, this is who I am, it's like they start to make themselves so much more clear. Like, oh, this isn't because I'm an oversensitive da 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 who needs to be respected and I respect. Oh, this is because I am a refined, um, I'm like a refined antenna, right? I'm made that way. And there's just the simplicity to how you do that. And it has nothing to do with being oversensitive or being this or being traumatized when I was young or the world being this way or this way. It's just simple. Oh, this is what I am. Oh, and then how do you take care of this, right? I'm a broadcaster, right? I'm made to broadcast. That was unexpected, right? For me, anyway. I don't have yours, so I'm just trying to think of some of the ones that are mine. You know, true nature, divine pride is like, oh, there's a message in here and it must go. And it's coming from deep in a silent place. Now, how do I live in a way that's going to be in alignment with my true nature, that is going to make me at peace and functional as I was created to be, so that I'm no longer living in opposition or in resistance to just what I am, right? And the thing about divine pride is that when you understand that it's a gift and it's a holy gift, all of a sudden you're sitting at an altar all the time, and that's the work. You're not trying to become the best human being you can be. You're not trying to be right. You're not trying to defend yourself. You're not trying to interpret what's going on here through the limited view, the limited language, the contentious language, the grabbing and pushing and pulling of humanity. You are now just sitting in a mystery. And you now have an intimacy with God that is indwelling and incorruptible and unquestionable, because you know you've touched it. So that's what I offer to you, that there is this consideration of self-respect and divine pride. And when self-respect becomes divine pride, it doesn't all of a sudden evaporate. People talk about sometimes about transcending who they are or transcending the ego. No, we don't want to do that. We want to have a very self-respecting, strong, intact, structurally sound ego, a clear glass, a clear mirror, right? Strong. And when that transitions into divine pride, all of a sudden, you really do understand what you are. And all of a sudden, your path makes a little bit more sense, or it has this octave to it of, oh, I'm here to become what I was created to be. What I was created to be, not what the world tells me I am, not what I decided I am, not what I think I am, not what I wish I was. There is a profound homecoming and deep rest and refuge and redemption in divine pride. It'll call you forward and it will return you to yourself. So I offer that consideration, partly in response to, well, just what I've been thinking this morning and the school. This is what's on my mind is, okay, where are we going for the next 9 months? Where am I going? Where am I? What am I holding? What am I focalizing? What am I guiding underneath of all the words, of the transmissions, of the practices? What is the actual movement, right? What are we going to cultivate for 9 months together? We are going to cultivate self-respect, octaved with divine pride. Self-respect, resting on and informed by divine pride. Therefore, both made non-negotiable and unapologetic, full of peace, full of also immense power, right? And immense love. Okay, those are my thoughts. You want to see one more time? I think you got some dragonflies this morning. Okay, secretly, I was for sure hoping that the bald eagle would just magically fly behind me while I was talking. Just imagine it. It was happening in the invisible, okay? Look at that. That's so beautiful. With the water rippling and the sun glinting. Okay, so much love to all of you. May you be filled with divine pride.